Hi, I'm TJ Noto. Welcome to another edition of GearheadExchange TV. As you can tell by the t-shirt that I'm wearing, the temperature has warmed up quite a bit here in Northern California. Spring has sprung a little bit early, and while we still have a couple of weeks of winter left, we're looking forward to getting out on the road in some of our cars and motorcycles and experiencing the wonderful weather. We hope that, at least for you in the Northern Hemisphere, spring is on its way and you'll soon be doing the same. This episode we'll be talking about several new topics, but we want to start by thanking the good people over at Nichols Sport Bike Services over in Milpitas, California, and specifically their head crew chief, Mike Lawrence, who caught a mistake that we made when we were installing the clutch back on our Ducati 851. We installed the friction plate first, which is incorrect and probably why our clutch still doesn't work properly. So we want to thank Mike for pointing out that the first plate that needs to get installed is the driven or the steel plate. Additionally, Nichols recommends finishing with 2 steel plates rather than 1 as the factory suggests. The factory installs their plates and starts with 2 steel plates before the first friction plate. Nichols suggests doing the exact opposite and starting with 1 steel plate, then alternating to friction back and forth, and then finishing with 2 steel plates. We're going to check in with our 1900 CSS update and see how that's coming along. And then finally, we're going to talk about some cosmetic and performance modifications that we've made to our shop project Porsche Cayman S.
In the last episode, we talked about the problems we were having with the headlamps on our Alpha 1900. The headlamps that were with the car when we got it were Lucas units, which are not correct for the car. We're not even sure that they were ever fitted to the car because it was disassembled and they were in boxes with lots of other parts. The car should have Corello headlamps fitted to it, and we were lucky enough to find a nice reproduction set. But when we tried to install them, we found that the diameter of the holes in the fenders were too small and that the profile of the fender was incorrect. Again, our car had sustained significant damage to the front end during its long life, and the poorly executed repairs are no doubt the reason for the fact that the right headlamps no longer fit. Our restorer took the challenge on without fear, however, and after many hours of work and perusing lots of photographs of other 1900s, he was able to make the headlamps fit and get the fender lines right. As you can see in these pictures, the nose of the car now has a light skim coat on it, which will be sanded smooth prior to preparation for paint. There are only a few more major projects left on the front of the car, including fabrication of the chrome trim pieces that surround the air intakes and the horizontal wings that fit inside them. With another challenge on the bodywork checked off our list, we are looking forward to sending all of the body trim to the platers for chroming, getting our restored wire wheels back, and taking delivery of our newly upholstered seats and door panels.
When the Porsche Cayman S was introduced in 2006, it was a revelation. It was lightweight, powerful, and had mid-engine construction, which meant it was an outstanding handling car. As good as they are, though, they still come tuned for the general public, and being gearheads, we want to extract every ounce of performance from the car that we can. When we acquired the car, it had a set of Eibach Pro Kit springs on it, but they had been installed with the stock shock absorbers. We're not a real big fan of the combination of uprated springs and OEM shocks. Frankly, it just doesn't work. The damping and the valving rates on the shocks can't cope with the uprated springs, and so while the car looked great, it would start to pogo on any kind of bumpy or undulating road if you were driving more than 5 or 6 tenths. Not that we condone exceeding speed limits or driving unsafely here at Gearhead Exchange. On the workbench here, we have a couple of the components from both the stock and modified setup. This is the Eibach Pro Kit spring for the front, and this is the OEM shock with the Eibach spring installed. We just recently installed a Bilstein PSS9 coilover kit, and it's a heck of a job. It took us about 15 or 20 hours all told, and we didn't need any factory tools, but it was definitely a challenging job. We're going to show you the PSS9 coilover kit installed on the front end, as well as some of the cosmetic modifications that we've made to the car. Now that we have the coilover kit installed, we need to take it back to the alignment shop and get it set up for weight, ride height, and have the toe and the camber adjusted because all of those measurements have changed with the new suspension. So here's a close-up of the Bilstein PSS9 front coilover spring installed. And you can see that it has these adjustable collars, which allow you to add preload or reduce preload to change the ride height of the car. You can't see it, but underneath the strut, there's an adjustable knob that allows you to set the compression damping from very, very firm to backed off all the way. For the street, we'll probably run no compression damping at all, and when we do track days and autocross the car, we'll add a few clicks of compression damping. So you can see here, again, that this part fits in the stock hub carrier. Getting it out is quite a lot of work. It took probably 8 hours of work to do the fronts alone, and another 10 or 12 to do the rears. There's simply a lot of parts that need to come apart and out of the car in order to complete this job. We hope, though, that it'll be well worth it. We've also added H&R sway bars to the front and rear. The rear is adjustable. The front seems to be about the same diameter as the OE sway bar, but appears to be of a different design and hopefully will help with front-end feedback and make the car handle even better than it already does.
The first generation Porsche Cayman, known to enthusiasts as the 987, is a beautiful car. It retains just enough of the 911's timeless style and DNA to identify it as a Porsche, but has enough subtle differences to separate it from its iconic big brother. And of course, its mid-engine configuration means that it goes as well as its swoopy Porsche styling cues suggest. With the handling now upgraded thanks to the Bilstein coilover kit and the H&R Sport sway bars, it was time to turn to a few more performance and cosmetic upgrades. The stock cable-actuated gear shift is not bad, but we installed a B&M short shift kit, which resulted in much shorter shift knob throw with minimal increase in effort. We also installed a software tune from Softronic, said to increase horsepower from 295 to 315, and torque from 251 to 268 foot-pounds. Unfortunately, we couldn't find a local dyno shop capable of measuring our Cayman's output prior to the upgrade, but the seat of the pants experience tells us that the $900 was money well spent. In terms of Cayman's appearance, we can't find much to complain about. Still, we wanted to make the car our own. We don't wear gold, and we don't think cars should either. So we replaced the gold Porsche hood crest with a silver, black, and red part sourced from bumperplugs.com, and swapped out the stock yellow side markers for ones with clear lenses like the ones fitted to European market cars. We also installed black grills in the front intakes, which keeps rocks and debris out and also look great. We removed the front light spars and had them resprayed in satin black. A set of lower air dam trim pieces in black from Suncoast Porsche completed the entirely blacked out look. Moving to the rear, we substituted a matte black Cayman S badge on the trunk lid for the stock silver part. With these small cosmetic changes, our Cayman has a stealthy look we think is befitting of such a classic sports car shape. The final change was to the stereo, which despite getting no small amount of attention from both Porsche and Bose, is lackluster at best. The CD player and tuner in the originally fitted CDR24 head unit were almost useless, and the sound coming out of the 9-way Bose speaker system was also unimpressive. AMS Car Stereo in Santa Clara, California, installed an Alpine INE W927HD head unit, which includes GPS navigation, Pandora, Bluetooth, and iPod integration, a built-in HD tuner, and is XM ready.
Well, we obviously still have a lot of work to do on the 1900 CSS, and regardless of whether or not we get it completed in time for the coming car show season, it's just a great project to be involved with. With spring on the way, we're looking forward to motorcycle riding, and there are plenty of motorcycle-related activities here in Northern California and all over the nation to look forward to. This May 5th, at the Quail Lodge in Monterey, California, Gordon McCall brings his Quail Motorcycle Gathering back, and we had a great time at last year's show, and we're really looking forward to it again this year. And then in April, very close to Colin Edwards' hometown, the Circuit of the Americas will be hosting its first MotoGP race, and we're really looking forward to seeing Jorge Lorenzo and Valentino and the rest of the boys duke it out on the nation's newest racetrack. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time here on Gearhead Exchange TV. I'm TJ Noto.